In 1975, Margret walked onto The Tonight Show wearing something so bold it made Johnny Carson's jaw drop on live TV. What no one knew was that every spin, every flash of fabric was part of a hidden plan to hijack live TV attention, a calculated stunt that slipped past censors and rewrote the rulebook. In this video, you'll see how one outfit broke primetime television and the genius planning behind it. The setup nobody saw coming. In the network era, three major broadcasters, ABC, NBC, and CBS, controlled what America watched. Network censors in the mid-1970s tightly limited explicit sexual content. Innuendo or mild suggestiveness was allowed, but nudity and explicit material were forbidden. Shows got canceled for pushing boundaries too far. Network executives wore suits and ties and acted like they were running churches, not entertainment companies. But here's Margret, this Vegas showgirl turned movie star, and she's got a plan brewing. See, she wasn't your typical Hollywood actress. This woman spent years dancing in Las Vegas casinos, learning exactly what made audiences lose their minds. She knew how to work a room, how to command attention, how to make people forget they were watching a performance. Now get this, she booked on The Tonight Show to promote her NBC special Margret Olsen, airing the next night. This isn't some casual drop-by chat with Johnny. This is calculated promotion on the biggest late-night show in America. Carson's show could make or break careers with one appearance. 15 million people watched every single night. That's power you can't buy. Her public image walked this crazy tightrope between wholesome and sexy. They called her Margrock because she could belt out rock songs like a wild woman, then turn around and play the sweet girl next door in movies. One minute she's the innocent farm girl, the next she's this sultry siren. Nobody else was doing that dance in Hollywood. The timing was perfect. Her NBC special needed viewers, needed buzz, needed something to cut through all the noise. This wasn't just any Tonight Show appearance. This was her shot to remind America who Margret really was underneath all those safe movie roles. So here's what she wore. A tight, sleeveless, low-cut top with an open back paired with form-fitting pants. The costume was a deliberate choice by Margret and her wardrobe team designed to create buzz. The fabric caught the studio lights and moved with every breath she took. Every seam, every cut was chosen for maximum impact. Carson introduces her with his usual smooth charm, not knowing what's about to happen. The band starts playing I've Got the Music in Me. The curtain parts. She steps into that bright spotlight. The audience gasps before they even know why. This was the perfect storm. The right star who knew how to push boundaries without crossing lines that would get her banned from television. The right show with the biggest audience in late night. The right moment when America was just starting to loosen up after the uptight 60s. Margret read the room perfectly and gave them exactly what they didn't know they wanted to see. But when you watch the footage, you realize something incredible. Every move was planned. She knows exactly what she's doing up there. Every single move is planned. The high kicks, hip shimmies, hair tosses, spins, and energetic dance breaks come at the exact moment the music builds. Those spins, timed perfectly to make that fabric fly out and catch the studio lights. This isn't just dancing, this is deliberate performance art. See, here's what makes it brilliant. She's not crossing any actual lines, just dancing right up to them. It stayed inside the letter of broadcast rules even while pushing their spirit. The censors can't say a damn thing because technically she's covered. But everyone watching knows exactly what they're seeing. She's playing by the rules while completely destroying them at the same time. You gotta remember, Margret spent years perfecting this stuff in Vegas casinos. I'm talking about rooms full of drunk men throwing money around, where you had to grab attention or get forgotten. She learned how to work every angle, how to make every movement count. Vegas doesn't teach you to be subtle. It teaches you to be unforgettable. Now get this. The cameras kept rolling and the director kept the cameras on her, capturing the full routine. The wide shots catch her full body movements. The close-ups show her face, confident and in total control. They knew they were capturing television history. Carson's sitting at his desk trying to keep his cool, but watch his face. His eyebrows shoot up like rockets. That famous Carson grin gets wider and wider. You can see the exact moment his professional composure breaks and he realizes he's watching something completely wild happen on his show. The audience loses their minds. Wild applause builds to this fever pitch that just keeps growing. People are hooting, whistling, going absolutely nuts. The energy in that studio gets so thick you could cut it with a knife. Her wardrobe team was in on this whole thing. They knew exactly what that fabric would do under those lights. They tested how it moved, how it caught the camera. This wasn't some last-minute decision. They planned every detail down to the thread count. You know what happened? This intentional move became something completely different from an accidental wardrobe malfunction. Those are embarrassing mistakes that ruin careers. This was deliberate artistry. Every bounce, every flourish, every shimmer of that fabric was designed to create exactly this reaction. She turned her body into a performance piece that pushed television into new territory. The genius was making it look spontaneous while controlling every single second. She's up there acting like she's just feeling the music, but really she's conducting this whole orchestra of shock and excitement. But here's the thing nobody understood at the time: the method behind the madness. Margret wasn't just showing off. She was making a career move that would pay off for decades. This woman understood something most performers never figure out. Attention equals opportunity. And her NBC special was airing the next night. She needed buzz, needed people talking, needed something to cut through all the white noise of television. But in 1975, how do you create that kind of buzz without destroying your career? One wrong move could damage a performer's mainstream career in that era. Too conservative and nobody remembers you existed. She had to thread this needle perfectly. Here's her situation. Margret was a triple threat who could sing, dance, and act. But Hollywood was changing fast. The old studio system was dying. New faces were showing up every week. If you weren't evolving, you were disappearing. She watched other stars from her era fade into nothing because they played it too safe. This fit her brand perfectly. She built her whole career on pushing boundaries while keeping that wholesome but sexy thing going. Think about it. She could belt out rock songs that made parents nervous, then turn around and play sweet characters that made those same parents love her. That balance took serious skill. Network TV was starting to loosen up, but slowly. Real slowly. The censors still controlled everything, but cracks were showing. Shows were testing new limits, seeing what audiences would accept. Smart performers could sense the shift coming. Now get this, the broader culture was moving toward what would become Jiggle TV. Shows like Three's Company and Charlie's Angels were still a couple years away, but the groundwork was getting laid. Somebody had to test those waters first. Margret volunteered. Her personal resilience played into this big time. Remember, this woman survived a serious 22-foot fall during a stage performance in 1972 that nearly killed her, but she came back to performing. That kind of experience teaches you something about taking calculated risks. Fear stops being the boss. Her Tonight Show slot reached a huge national late-night audience. The show could reach roughly 15 million viewers, and her special was airing the next night, so the stage was set for maximum buzz. Word of mouth was everything back then. No internet, no social media. People talked about what they saw on TV the next day at work, at grocery stores, everywhere. She deliberately chose to go braless for this specific Tonight Show appearance because it was the perfect intersection of promotion, personality, and cultural timing. This was a deliberate costume choice by Margret and her wardrobe team, and consistent with 1970s fashion trends where bras optional was part of style. The special needed buzz. Her brand could handle the controversy. America was ready for someone to push those boundaries. The wardrobe choice wasn't accidental or spontaneous. It was strategic warfare disguised as artistic expression. She knew exactly what reaction she needed to generate. What she didn't know was just how far that reaction would spread. The moment that changed everything. The aftermath became something nobody could have predicted. I'm talking about water cooler conversations that went on for weeks. Phone calls between friends, neighbors stopping each other on the street to talk about what they saw Margret do on Carson's show. This wasn't your typical TV performance that people forgot by morning. This stuck. See, TV performances usually got polite applause and maybe a mention in the entertainment section. Not this one. This became a water cooler moment that signaled a shift in what mainstream TV audiences might accept. Mothers called their daughters. Husbands came home from work asking their wives if they caught the show. The buzz was electric. But was it scandal or was it art? The line was blurrier than anyone realized. Critics couldn't decide if they should be outraged or impressed. Some called it cheap exhibitionism. Others said it was bold artistic expression. The confusion was part of what made it so powerful. The immediate response split right down the middle. Conservative groups wrote angry letters demanding apologies. Entertainment writers called it a masterclass in showmanship. Carson himself reacted with that bemused smile, caught between embarrassment and admiration. The network got flooded with complaints and praise in equal measure. Viewers described themselves as astonished by what they'd witnessed. Now, get this. Margret's performance bridged old Hollywood glamour with the coming sexual revolution in media. She took that classic Vegas showgirl energy and brought it straight into America's living rooms. No warning, no preparation, just pure entertainment that pushed every boundary without technically breaking any rules. Other performers started watching what they could get away with on network TV. If Margret could do that braless dance routine and keep her career intact, what else was possible? The floodgates didn't open immediately, but cracks started showing everywhere. This moment foreshadowed what would later become known as jiggle television, shows that used playful sexuality as entertainment. This connected to the bigger cultural shift happening in the mid-70s. America was loosening up after the uptight 60s. People wanted more freedom, more honesty, more real emotion. Margret gave them exactly that, wrapped up in a 3-minute song. The moment became legendary over time. Clips kept resurfacing in retrospectives about wild TV moments. Entertainment historians called it unforgettable television. Each generation that discovered it reacted the same way: shocked, amazed, completely captivated. You know what happened? It generated buzz, widespread conversation, and attention that helped promote her special. Network executives took notes. The censors realized their grip was slipping whether they liked it or not. Margret showed everyone that America wanted entertainment that felt dangerous without being destructive. She gave them excitement that pushed limits without crossing lines that would shut everything down. The balance was perfect. The timing was flawless. The execution was brilliant. But here's what makes this whole thing even more incredible. She turned one Tonight Show appearance into a masterclass in calculated showmanship. Margret didn't just perform that night. She read the cultural moment perfectly and gave America exactly what it didn't know it wanted. See, this woman understood something most entertainers never figure out. You don't just follow trends, you create them. If you liked this video, make sure to watch the other videos in our channel about beautiful ladies of yesteryear.